Hi everyone, I'm Gaurav. I welcome you all to webinar for Design for Sustainability, organized by Design Jungle and powered by UX Gorilla. Today we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Sameep Chan. He's a circular design evangelist and believes that it can be a key to a sustainable world. From running his own startup to volunteering for social causes to being a part of a large corporates. His diverse experiences gives him a unique perspective. Currently, he's a MS student at MIT and diving deeper into a design management. Next up, we will have Sameep taking us through circular design basics. So let's get started. Sameep, over to you.
Thank you guys for having me here. Thank you, Gaurav. Today we are going to talk about design for sustainability. Nowadays, a lot of companies have started making their own products, and thinking about sustainability is now a big question, whether the products they are designing are sustainable or not. So let's talk about living world, how living world works here. So now, as we know, like seeds generates into a young plant and then that moves into a mature plant, and which gives you a flower, and from there we can get fruits. So this entire circle is managed by the nature itself. Human interaction is really very less here. But in the case of human life cycle, there is a very linear approach which we follow. We buy a product, we make it, and then we dispose it. So that generally produces toxic waste. For example, we are using a mobile phone today. When we want to, after a year, when we are done with the product, we throw it into the landfill, and that produces waste. That is electronic waste. So in terms of sustainability, it is not a sustainable product. It's not a long-term solution, because in the world, if everyone starts doing it, then it will produce a lot of waste which is not recyclable. So thinking about this entire world, we can divide this into two categories, that is biological products and the technical products. Biological products can include food waste, hospital products like syringe, needles, glass and plastics. And in technical side, we have mobile phones, laptops, vehicles, washing machine, and many more electronic products. Now the basic question comes here, how are we going to solve this issue? What if we do not own a product? What if we can return the product and get a new one? There are many companies out there who are actually doing this. For example, we can now return the old mobile phones and get a new one instead of that, or we can directly buy a refurbished mobile phone instead of a new one. In the clothing industry also, H&M is one such company which I know. They are refurbishing the entire clothing industry. So once you're done with your, let's say, a t-shirt, you can return them and they will reuse it or they will remake it. So designing this particular thing requires understanding of three aspects, that is social impact, environmental impact, and the third one is economic impact. So the importance of owning a product till now in the market is really useful. People believe that they own a product, but bringing an entire new perspective of renting a product, in today's millennials do not own a product, they rent a product. So thinking about the social aspect here and how it is going to impact economically, on top of this we have to think about how it is going to impact environmentally. So talking about this, we are going to learn about butterfly diagram. So in the butterfly diagram, as I said, products are divided into two categories, that is biological and the technical side. In the left side we have biological part, and in the right side we have the technical part. As you can see, the first one is reusing our product, then remanufacturing it, then refurbishing the product, and then recycling the product. So the idea is for humans or for anyone that the product should not go to the landfill. It should be reused before it goes to the landfill. And using these four methods, like using the following principles, we can do it. So the principles I'm going to talk about today comes under the shade of circular design. So the next big thing in design is circular. There are four methods. The number one is understand, define, make, and release. In the world of UX, the first principle is understanding the user needs, or we can say understanding the customer needs. So here, till now we have designed products in a linear fashion where we understand or talk to the user to get the feedback. But in circular thing and in a circular design, basically the life cycle of a product is minimized, or there is no life cycle of the product. So now we have beginning or middle or the end one of a product, life cycle of a product. But in circular design, there is no such thing. I'm using a product. When I'm done with the product, I can return it, and the company should refurbish or recycle the product so that it can act as a new one again. So imagine that if everything could be designed as a restorative or regenerative product. Number 2 is define. So defining the circular part or the opportunity. Let me tell you that in each of these steps there are several sub steps which can be followed. I'm just talking just one single step in each and every category or in each and every steps here. So in the define part, there are a couple of things, but the most important thing which I feel is finding circular opportunities. So there are a lot of products out there where we can apply or restart or rethink about the designing part. So finding circular opportunities in a product is really, really important. So let's say a tissue paper or a mobile cover or a t-shirt, or let's say a smart watch where we can apply circular design to it. So finding circular opportunities in a smallest product is really important, because we have to rethink it and redesign it. Number 3, that is make. Now we have understood the product and defined what we are going to build. Now the thing is we have to build it. So make is really important. This is a very common term used in design thinking or any other user experience part, where we brainstorm with a team, like how are we going to design the product. So keeping in mind brainstorming, we can include another term, that is circular brainstorming. So whenever we are brainstorming, we have to think about materials or what we are going to use in that product so that it can be reused. So till now we have used materials which is based on use and throw principle, but for example plastic, it is so cheap that we can use it and throw it. It doesn't even cost a dime for us. But if we can think about circular design, it may be a little expensive in comparison to the products which is out there in the market. But again, if we can reuse it, then it will generate the circular economy. So from user-centered research, it can be figured out what else can be brainstormed about the product or about the user or about the material which can offer the design more circular. The last step in circular design is release. In most of the products, when we release the product, we generally try to forget one thing, that is continuous learning loop or taking the user feedback. So this is really, really important in circular design or in per se any design product. Learning from the users how they have used it and thinking about the future possibilities. For example, when we are designing a mobile phone, as we can see in the let's say about Google Android, every year Google introduces a newer version of Android where they introduce new features which includes modification on the previous one. So that is again a product which is modified every year. So continuous learning from the users, how they have used and analyzing the entire data is really, really important. So designing the feedback cycle and learning from the input, basically learning from the user. So your product should have that feedback mechanism built inside the product, be it a mechanical product or be it a design product or be it the service-based product, let's say website or on an Android application. So learning how to use feedback and planning what will be the next big thing in your product is going to be the big change. Let's talk about examples here, which like the companies which are using circular design and have designed better products. The first one which I'm going to talk about is edible plates, where you do not throw the plastic plates. Instead of that, you can use it. So you can use all the forks or the knife or the spoon and the plate after eating it. So the company called Bioterm is a disposable. They build disposable products that are made from wheat bran. So you can read about it. The products are fully biodegradable. Next is Sprout World. It's a pencil which you can use it, and after using it, you can plant it. So you can write, draw, and doodle anything from using the pencil, and then place it upside down and watch it grow. So you can grow herbs, vegetables, or flowers, anything, any kind of thing which you can make using this pencil, this Sprout World, which it is called. Ecovative design. Ecovative design is into producing packaging products using mushroom. Mushroom roots has a glue-like property. So Steelcase and Dell were the early adopters. This company has been since 2010, and now it's a profitable company. So there is an opportunity I think the founder saw here in the mushroom. While redesigning any small products, you should be open to explore all the different opportunities which are out there. Now the challenge is tissue paper. So this is a photo which has been taken from one of the tech parks in Bangalore. Challenge is tissue paper. As we all know that tissue paper is a better design in compared to all the plastic designs which we have out there in the market. But is it really a good design by looking at this picture? So this is one of the picture taken from one of the tech parks in Bangalore from one of the companies out there. So in a tech park, in generally there are like 20 to 50 companies, and this is from one such company. The tissue paper has been generated. So the problem with tissue paper is once the food is contaminated, you cannot reuse or recycle that tissue paper. It has to be wasted. So it is a good design, but it is not a sustainable design. So there is again a lot of waste has been generated here. We have to rethink it. So this is one such example where we can apply circular design and come up with a better product. I understand not all of us are engineers or designers, but we can still do our part to make sure that the world is a sustainable place to live in. For example, instead of using tissue paper, I have started carrying handkerchief so that it can be reused. Now, as a country in India, we generally use plastic a lot. It will take us another 10 years to get rid of plastic and come up with a new material, maybe let's say paper bags or paper straws. But that will again create a problem in terms of the usability, in which we have to again clear it. So if we start applying circular design now, we might be able to save India's next 10 years and move on to a better sustainable products. If you have any ideas or suggestions, please put them in the comment section. Thank you for watching.
Over to you, Gaurav.
Thank you so much, Samit, for sharing your knowledge on circular design with us. Guys, it's time to take a Q&A session. Samit, let's have a look at a few questions we received from viewers. So, guys, do comment your questions if you want to ask Samit. So, Samit is here. So, it's a great time. You can ask anything on this particular topic on circular design fundamentals. So, you can ask Samit. Let's wait for a few minutes. All right, Samit, we have received one question from Romil Javed. So he's trying to ask you, like, hi Samit, how does circular design play with the agile approach?
Uh, all right. I think agile approach is and circular design is two different topics. Agile approach is when you apply some set of principles to make sure that your product is the development process is continuous. And circular design is again a methodology which will be applied inside the agile process, or in any kind of process. Agile process is not the only process out there. So basically, circular design is like whenever we try to do brainstorming on, let's say, any topic, we generally think about the idea is to think about coming up with a cheaper solution or with the basic materials which we can use. So in terms of doing brainstorming there, if we can think rethink in a better way to design or to make products in a sustainable way. So that is something which is about circular design, and I think agile is like completely different thing here. I hope I answered your question.
Right, Samit. Thank you. And Samit, here is one another question we received from Saurav. We want to ask you that can circular design be used for software products or
Uh,
only restricted to a hardware product?
so right now, uh, I would not say about software because circular design and right now which I have seen is mostly related to the hardware products because the basic example is like the product which we use in daily life. The physical products are mostly like not sustainable. Software product is on cloud or is in computer right now, so that is does not come under sustainability part. So I would go for hardware products here, or let's say physical products which we can feel or touch.
All right, great, great, Samit. And another question we have received from Aman Gautam. What is the difference between recycling and circular design?
Sorry, can you repeat that question? Recycling and
Recycling and circular design.
okay. So I think the end result is the same. The idea is not to put everything into the ocean. So the idea or into the landfill. The idea is to reuse the products again and again. So if we can recycle it, if we can recycle something and we can reuse or bring that same thing into the market again, let's say tissue paper, which I mentioned in the slides. So there are tissue papers which can be recycled if the food is not contaminated. So if we can recycle tissue paper and reuse it, that's a better design. But there are thousands or more than that tissue papers which are contaminated with food, and that is getting wasted. That's a waste. And so I think that, I mean, like, tissue paper is a recyclable thing, but again it is creating waste. So in terms of circular design, it is not, the circular design is not followed, or the principles are not really followed here. So it's not a sustainable design or have. So my point here is that being recyclable does not mean that you are not creating any waste. So being recyclable means like the entire line chain or the entire supply chain is making sure that the supply chain is in a circular fashion, that is, it is not going into the landfill or ocean or any other place, it is being reused.
Great, Samit. Thanks. Thanks for answering. So another question we have received from Asim: is there a saturation point to this approach? Like, is there a point where you can no longer sustain the product?
Okay, saturation point no longer sustain a product. I have a question here, like, is he talking about the current product which we have in the market, or the product which we are going to design
Maybe it's
with
a
the help
current
of
product
circular
which
design?
is available in the market.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So I think so. The saturation point is coming. So as we can see, the plastics. I mean, the oceans are filled with plastics now. So that now the companies are working towards how to remove plastic or how to clean the ocean. Or so there was an example with a company. I don't remember the name of that. That's a clothing company, and uh, the fashion is changing so fast that they decided to burn all their clothes, and because of that they created air pollution and water pollution as well as land pollution. And so I mean, like, in this is just only one industry, fashion industry, and if we see go for oil industry or let's say plastic manufacturing company, so combining all of these things, the saturation point is here, and we have crossed that path a long time ago, and now we are cleaning it and trying to move towards a better design. So yeah, we have reached the saturation point in short.
All right, great, Sameep. So let's take a last question of this session, Sameep. Last question is from Rohan Mishra. He want to ask you, like, from a business standoff point, is it all possible to use circular design principles to design a business model for a smaller company as well?
Yes, absolutely. It is possible to design products using circular design. So I have shared like 2 or 3 examples here. The pencil sprouts one, uh, and the edible plates, and then the mushroom packaging thing. So these are the designs which have been like this is like innovative or creative designs, which was I don't even know how much money or the capital was put into it, but I'm very sure because of their ecological advantage, big companies try to take that. So for that mushroom packaging thing, Dell and other big companies took that design, and now in some of the company's products, I still see that thing. That kind of packaging is still available. So recently, I saw that particular packaging in Philips product. So I think that if you have a great solution, or if you have a great creative solution, I think if you're creating a value in it, then your business model will speak itself, and some way or other you will be able to generate revenue if that's what you are looking for.
Thank you, Sameep. Sameep, one more question we have received from Anish. He want to ask you, like, how is recycling different than circular design philosophy?
Okay, I think Aman asked the same question, and I'm gonna repeat the same thing again. Recycling doesn't mean that we are following the circular design. For example, tissue paper, we say that it's getting recycled, but again, in tissue paper in which the food is contaminated, that is a waste. So we do not recycle that. And as a human being or as a person, we see that the recyclable sign is there, and we notice that okay, this product is recyclable. I can use it and I can throw it. Maybe it will be recycled, but we don't really know what goes in the background, if it's recycled or not. And the waste we create, uh, there is a lot of process goes on to separate all the waste, be it food, be it plastic or anything. So I would suggest to go out and do more research about what are the companies doing waste segregation. So there are companies in Bangalore which I have found out they are doing waste segregation, taking waste from people and segregating all the plastic and the food waste and all the recyclable waste, and then they are generating recyclable products through all the machineries and all. So since we are not doing a great job in separation, so that's why there are companies out there who are making, I mean, like, I don't know if they're making money or not, but they're doing cleaning job for us. So recyclable does not mean that we are following circular design. We might have to go back and look for different, like, we might have to dig deeper and see what's going underneath.
Thank you so much, Sameep.
Thank you, Gaurav.
So, thank you so much, people, for joining this webinar. We had a lot of great interaction. On the behalf of UX Gorilla, I want to thank you for joining us today. Hope you found this information helpful. If you missed anything, no worries. Still, you can watch this recorded webinar on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm signing out, Gaurav with Sameep Jan. Bye bye.